He's getting older.
Huh?
Oh, hit the full button.
But not wiser.
Bitch, I'm flowing straight from the survival scroll.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here. Hope to put on a great show for you here today. Lefty Show number 44 coming right at you today, Thursday, the 26th of June, in the year of our spaghetti monster 2014. Welcome one, welcome all to the Lefty Show. Again, I'm your host, Lefty. Glad to be here. Hope to put on a great show for you today. I thank you all for watching, liking, favoriting, and subscribing on YouTube. Oh, geez, my that crackle probably made it into the recording. You know, I need a new board because you can't have crackling like that when I'm working the knobs during a recording. But such is life, I suppose. It's a really old board. Anyway, thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, and subscribing on YouTube. Helping the channel grow helps the show grow. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can find the show on YouTube. When I talk about links in the description, that's where you can go to find all that great stuff. You can also check out some great gaming content, vlogs, and much, much more at youtube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show with your friends, family, and coworkers, helping the show grow in a grassroots kind of way, which is much easier to do now because we're mobile with an RSS feed. That's right, take the Lefty Show with you wherever you go. Head on over to leftyshow.podbean.com. Manually subscribe to the RSS feed there so you won't miss an episode. Download every single one that comes your way. Also, if you're on Android, go to your favorite podcasting app of choice and search The Lefty Show. You'll be sure to find me there. Also, you can go to the iTunes Store, the biggest and baddest out there for podcasting. Go to the iTunes Store and search The Lefty Show, and be sure to download us there, subscribe, and leave a rating on the feed. That way you can take the show with you wherever you go. Show it to all your friends, family, and coworkers, and say, hey, look at this awesome, amazing podcast. This is the greatest thing ever invented. You should totally check it out. It's amazing. That's what you should totally do. So Lefty Show on iTunes and Android podcasting apps. If you want to manually subscribe, if you want to manually subscribe to the RSS feed, go to leftyshow.podbean.com. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you go. If you want to donate to the show, help out the cause, that's always appreciated. Head on over to I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. Getting a bit of an early start to the Lefty Show today, at least in terms of recording. We're moving up the start time of That's Not Why You Called, at least for this week. Chiz has got some stuff later to do this evening. And given that he's on the left coast, it gives us a good amount of time to play with. So we're going to shoot for a 3 p.m. start time for That's Not Why You Called. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that's palatable. Not only if people show up, but if it works for us, and it gives us the evening free to record more games and play games and just kind of hang out and chill out. Whereas, you know, if you have a show, if you've got something to do, it's best, I think, to have it done earlier in the day. I'm that kind of person. Other people like to procrastinate, and I procrastinate as well. However, my procrastination is more days long than it is hours long. I say, I don't say a lot of, I'll do that later. I say a lot of, I won't do it now because I've got other things to do right now, or I don't want to do it right now. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be first up. My procrastination is at least of the 24-hour variety. And I'm of the mind that if you've got something to do, if you've got to be somewhere, if you're locked in, got to do it, got to get it done, get it out to people, whether it be in the professional space or in your job, in a corporate setting, school, anything like that. Although in the school sense, that might be morning classes, and morning classes blow donkey nuts. But if you're done, but even then, if you're done with school, I remember when I was in college and I had a schedule that was primarily morning classes, it sucked getting up in the morning, at 7 in the morning to go to class, because I was like, what the fuck? Am I back in high school? I'm supposed to be an adult. I thought adults sleep in to like 8, 9 in the morning. But when you're done at 11:30 or even noon, and you've got the rest of the day to do homework, study, dick around, well, it's not too bad. And I'm of the mind that in every space, it's better to have things set up and get them done earlier in the day than to have them looming over everything you do all day, culminating in finally at night where you could possibly be out doing other things, not necessarily better things, but other things, and you're locked in here doing this or that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love doing the show. I love doing shows. I love doing podcasts, but it's nicer to be able to do it earlier and then have the rest of the day free or the evening free to do whatever I want. Instead of, well, we do the show, we wrap it at 8 o'clock. Well, what can I do after 8 o'clock? Well, I can start recording. Yeah, but, we record for 4 hours. It's midnight already. And if you want to record longer than that, well, then you're into 2 in the morning and then you're sleeping in until, 10 o'clock again or 11 o'clock. Fuck! I want to get this shit done. So we'll test out getting That's Not Why You Called, the other podcast I'm a part of with Dr. Chiz, done earlier. And if we can do that regularly, that's something I think we might be interested, especially this summer coming, and a lot of people available earlier in the day. And plus, I got to get my sleep schedule back on track. We talked yesterday, or I talked yesterday. I say we, but I like to think that the people listening to this show are having kind of an internal conversation. They are having an internal monologue, but in the meta sense, they're having a conversation with me because you have your earbuds in or your headphones on at your desk, and you're listening to me talk. And while maybe you're shouting at your computer screen. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're sitting on the train or in the library with your tablet and saying, "You dumb motherfucker!" Maybe you're doing that. I don't know. The capitalization and some of the toxicity of the comments leads me to believe that maybe people do indeed shout at their computer screens when they're listening to this show. So it really is not an internal monologue. It becomes an external monologue for anybody around, and you just look like a crazy person because they don't know you're listening to a jackass on the internet. So haha, jokes ultimately on you. But I like to think that people listening to the show kind of have a conversation with me in that I say something and it's the ultimate one-way conversation. I mean, it's like you're completely submissive to me. And if I just opened your eyes to something that you didn't even know you were doing, and you're like, oh man, I didn't know I was doing that. Uh-oh, sorry. But you're listening to me say things in your headphones, earbuds, what have you, and then you're responding internally. I don't respond to your response unless it just so happens that I think of a counter argument and try to work that into my argument, and it just so happens that you were thinking of the exact counter argument that I was posing, and then it might seem omniscient on my part to incorporate your argument that you were just thinking of. But outside of that, I don't respond, but it's still a conversation of sorts. My input results in your, albeit internal, output. And so when I say we discussed, I don't necessarily mean that there was somebody else sitting here in the studio discussing. I'm here. No, you're not discussing things. No, give me the microphone. I want to talk about the things. Give me it back, you dick. No, I want to talk about the things that I could do the podcast. A lot of people I saw when you brought it up. Give me the fucking microphone. No, the people you brought up doing a podcast with the Eugene. That's me. And a lot of people seem to enjoy it. Yeah, well, those people, they're not paying to keep the studio lit. Yeah, but, you gotta, this is your first day in the entertainment business. You gotta have something to get people in the door. You know what, Eugene? What the fuck? You mop floors. What are you talking about? You're giving me tips on the entertainment business, and you're mopping floors. What did you do? Oh, back in the day, yes, I mop floors. Thank you for that elitism, you jerk. I didn't mean it like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You know you did. But, oh, man, I used to mop the floors for Frank and the Rat Pack. You know, they didn't really like Sammy Davis. I had to go to his dressing room to mop up after him, and the oil and the Jerry curls. Oh, it was awful. They had Jerry curls back in the 50s. Yeah, you know, Sammy Davis, he was one of the first people to do that, and he set it up, you know, for the rest of them. Who? Well, you know, Sammy, and he was kind of the token, you know. I'm an old man. I can't really say it. No. Come on, Eugene. Come on. No. You can say it. What? Setting the trend for whom? What are you talking about? Token what? I don't. Sammy Davis Jr. What was he doing? What was his big deal? Well, you know, he was kind of one of the first. Oh, you know, Negroes to be. Whoa, Eugene. Well, that's what they were called. Yeah, but you can't say that now. Why can't I? Because it's you know, it's a word and it's all complicated. It's got very complicated meaning, and we can't even agree as a society whether we should continue to use it or whether its use is universally acceptable or unacceptable. And you just can't use that word nowadays. But I didn't do you the other word. What other word? No, I'm not saying it. What other word are you talking about? You said Negro. That's pretty bad. No, not saying it. No, come on, Eugene. You know you want to say it. No, I don't. I worked with Sammy. He was a delight. I would never speak ill of Sammy Davis Jr. despite him carrying Frank's jockstrap and being the token Negro for the... Eugene, stop! Mother of God, man. You see, this is why you don't have your own podcast. Because I couldn't help... You could not help yourself but to go on racist rants constantly. I mean, you know, that's what Sammy was. He was the jockstrap carrier for the rest of the white guys in a Rat Pack. Yeah, but... You can't say those things. I still don't understand why I can't say it. Because again, it's their word, it's not our word, and you know they get to decide when and where and how it's used. They who? I'm talking about black people. Yeah, but why should one group of people be able to use a word and not other people? That's kind of racist. Yeah, but. And speaking of which, don't they say it's racist if other people say it, but they can say it, and they say other white people or other races can't? So they can be, yeah, they do say it. So they can be racist, but we can't be racist. Yeah, you know, Eugene, that's one of the central conundrums with the absurdity of, you know, reserving the usage of words for specific races and cultures, because that cuts to the heart of, that basically is very prejudicial and wrong. Yeah, you know, trust me, I've run into many times, I've had to deal with, you know, racial or prejudicial treatment. Oh, yeah, from who? Well, from you bastard. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything. You know, you called me some words that were not very nice to my group of people. What group of people? What, janitors? Old janitors? Come on. I mean, we joke around. You get a paycheck still. I don't treat you any differently. Yeah, but you talked about putting me in your oven, and, you know, you call me something that rhymes with bike, and it's just, I didn't know. You cannot go around spreading lies like that on this show, especially on my show. I have never said anything of the sort. I don't know what you're talking about. And, you know, frankly, Eugene, I'm pretty upset that you would even think to spread such lies and falsehoods about me to try to hurt me. Well, you know, sometimes the truth hurts, you bastard. Sure, you know what, Eugene? We kind of had a moment there where we agreed, but now no more. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of the studio. Get out. I'll push you out. I will push you out, and just get out. Get out. No more. Get your star back on, so I know you're you. And get the fuck. You see what I'm talking about? Shut up, Eugene. Get the fuck out. Get out of the studio. Get the fuck. Thank you. Close the door. You bastard. Fuck you. God, you know, sometimes he just wanders in constantly, and it's the craziest thing. Anyway, where was I? Completely lost the train of thought. Thanks, Eugene. You fucked up the show. Fuck you. Damn it. Where was I? Anyway, talking about procrastination. I am, Jesus, completely forgot. Fuck you, Eugene. God, I hate when he does that. It's such a pain in the ass. Anyway, talking about blah, 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 going through my head. Anyway, I lost it. So thank you, Eugene, for fucking up that part of the show. Greatly appreciate it. You know, we're going to talk a lot today. Later in the show, we got some news coming up, and we're going to talk more about the police and about police actions and the police interactions with civilians. But I had a personal interaction with the police recently, and you know, for somebody that it's not that I hate police officers. Like if I meet a police officer on the street, I do not immediately hate them. I am immediately wary of police officers and the amount of bad shit. And yes, it's up to me what is bad. Deal with it if you don't like it. The amount of bad shit they have to do in order for me to hate them is much less than any normal person. So they are in a very tenuous position with regards to whether I hate them upon immediate introduction. However, I don't actually hate them upon introduction. I'm just very wary of them. And I believe there's good reason for that. Unlike many people who just don't care and really do not like police, I think I will give you a chance to fuck yourself, but you get one chance. Sometimes you give everybody a chance to fuck themselves and put themselves in the hate doghouse, in your own little personal hate doghouse, but you give them chance after chance after chance, and they fuck you and they fuck you and they fuck you, and then and only then do you say, all right, that's it. Into the hate doghouse you go. You mean into the hate oven? Shut up, Eugene. We'll talk about that later. But police officers, at least with respect to my interaction with them, I say, okay, I will give you that one chance. And if you're glib about, detaining me, or you in some way are rude, or you fuck with me, or I see you fucking with other people, then I hate you immediately. I just say, fuck you. Hopefully a bullet finds its way through your vest and into your heart. I don't care at that point. That's how tenuous they are. However, the fact remains I don't really hate them right off the bat. I'll just say, all right, well, be careful. But, and I've never really had any, at least personal, very negative interactions with police. Never been detained or arrested or anything like that. And never had a reason to say, this is, I was fucked by the police, and so I now have a lifelong hatred or distrust for them. I just look around, and everything I see, I say, oh, well, I see what's going on, and I go back and I read the law and the Constitution specifically, and then I look at what's going on, and then I go back and I read the Constitution. Then I see again what's being done or said by police, and I say, oh, shit. All right. That doesn't match up. So I'm immediately distrustful of police. But it was after, I believe, a long recording session on the PKA side. I think, Katie got home from work, and we decided to go out and get some fast food late night. Just easy. And we went. It was about 10 o'clock, probably 10 o'clock. And we go to the fast food joint, get our food, and we're driving home. And driving down the street, dark, no street lights, and I see a car up probably about 100 feet. And it looks like a sedan. And all of a sudden, a gigantic bright spotlight appears from the left side of the car, the driver's side, and starts shining into a public park that's on the left. And I'm heading down this way. The public park is also on my left. And I realize, either this is a guy who bought a surplus police cruiser, or one that was decommissioned, they got 150, 160,000 miles on them or whatever. And so you can buy them really, really cheap. And they have in the strut bar, they have the spotlight, and it works. And I said, all right, well, either this is some guy just fucking with somebody in the park, or this is an actual cop. Well, as I roll up, I see a bright light emitting from the dash, and I say, oh, okay, well, that's probably the computer screen. This is a cop. And what they were doing was just shining a light into this very dark public park, but they were shining the light. I said, well, what are they doing? What's going on? What could they possibly be doing? Rousting teenagers, something like, I don't even know. But it got to the point where I needed to continue past the beam of light that this cop was shining into the park. That could only mean fucking with teenagers. Because if it was an active rape situation or an axe murder, I would hope Barney Fife would be out of the fucking car on his feet going to crack some skulls. So the fact that he's on his spotlight tells me, okay, it's just the teenagers smoking pot or maybe even crack or meth. Whoa, crack or meth, man. Meth, not even once. It's crack or meth, and he's just fucking with him a bit, saying, hey, well, get out of here. And all right. And there was a little time where I slowed down because I didn't know. I was anticipating like shining a light, because I've seen this before where cops will shine a light and then just jump out of the car and start running. And I was passing on the driver's side door, and I didn't want to hit a fucking police officer because then I'd be in serious shit. So I slowed down, and it got into a little game of like, do I pass? Do I wait? I'm sure if I stop and wait, the guy's going to get out and fuck with me. Like, what are you doing? So I decided to pass. But here's what happens. Because I'm driving, again, it's nighttime, it's 10 o'clock at night, there's no sun to be out, there's no other sources of light other than my headlights and this gigantic fucking spotlight that's hooked up to this cop car. As I'm driving by, the light shines into the cab of my car. And it's a bright fucking light. Now, don't do this while driving. Don't do this while driving. I'm not telling you to do this while driving, and I do not advocate doing this while driving. But when you're at night, if you're sitting in your bedroom or something, get a flashlight. Or when it just gets dark, it doesn't have to be, pitch black out. Get a flashlight, try to look one way, and then hold your arm out 90 degrees from the way you're looking and click on a flashlight and just shine it right at your eyes. Now, again, it's not head on, 90 degrees to the right from the direction you're looking, and just shine it right at your eyes. And then imagine when you do that, one, it's a 15,000 candle powers police spotlight, whatever the candle units are. I don't even know what a candle unit is. Imagine one, it's that, and two, you're trying to operate a motor vehicle, and three, you're trying to operate a motor vehicle in front of a fucking police officer, in front of whom, if you swerve because of the gigantic fucking light, they're going to pull you over and give you some shit. And this cop was just, no, because there's the switch on it. You can turn off the light. When you're maneuvering that little spotlight, you can flip the switch and turn it off. And here comes a well-meaning citizen driving down a public road, and then he's paying your fucking salary or part of it and trying to operate his motor vehicle lawfully but your rousting of teenagers who are just trying to get laid in the park on a summer night at 10 o'clock, they're just trying to get down because they can't do it at home because mommy and daddy might find out, and that can't happen. So they're just trying to get laid in the park. What's the big deal? Your rousting of teenagers supersedes the lawful acts, the lawful operation of a motor vehicle by me. And you're shining that fucking thing right in my car. And I'm just driving by. No turning it off. No nothing. Just boop, it's fucking on you. Deal with it. And what? No, dude. First of all, what the fuck are you even doing? What do you do? What are you even doing? Never mind the fact that you lack the common fucking courtesy, pig, to turn off the light when I'm driving by. And I'm just trying to drive by and go on about my business. I'm not doing anything wrong. And you could at least turn off the fucking light as I drive by. because it's a bright fucking light, and that's the reason why it's so bright, is so you can diffuse situations. You can fuck with people with that light. That's why it's so bright. Turn it off when I'm driving by. Extend to me that courtesy. If not from a I fucking pay you mindset, but from a, oh, here's another guy not privy to my rousting of teenagers just trying to fuck or smoke a little pot, smoke a joint in the park. Somebody else who has no party, who is not party to any of that. Maybe I should turn off this fucking gigantic spotlight as they're driving by so it doesn't fuck with them or their passenger. Maybe I should do that. Oh, no, wait. I'm a 5'0" dipshit, pig cock loving motherfucker. No, I'm not going to do that. We got to rouse the kids, rouse the teenagers. Okay. Don't even extend me the common decency. Just, oh, this person isn't a part of this. I'm not going to make them a part of this, and I'll turn off the spotlight. And also, now let's bring that shit back on. I fucking own you. You work for me, not the other way around. You work for me. I know work for you. And finally, what the fuck were you even doing there? It's a public park. People are entitled to be in a public park. Public park. And you're trying to fuck with teenagers? Because again, and some people might say, well, there might have been something going on. They're just trying to investigate. Then get out of your fucking car. If it was serious enough to warrant actual investigation, you've got the gun, you've got the vest, you've got the radio, and the flashlights, and the mace, and the taser, and the 2 or 3 magazines, extra magazines. Get out of your fucking car and go investigate. If it was a serious crime, you believe you had reasonable suspicion that a serious crime was in progress, get out of your fucking car and go investigate. Turn your car off, take the keys, or whatever the protocol is, and actually go investigate. You actually want to stop kids doing meth? Or you think somebody's getting raped in the park? Get off your fucking ass and go see what's going on. But that's not what was going on, because I have to believe that they're at least that competent. So what were they doing? They were just fucking with teenagers. Fucking with them. Somebody was in the public park, and they decided, well, that can't be. You can't have people in the park. Let's shine the fucking spotlight on them. Oh, and here comes another citizen who's not doing anything wrong. Should I turn off the light? Nah, fuck it. My fucking with the people in this park supersedes that. It's just, what the fuck? Come on. Is that not part of training? Hey, don't fuck with your gigantic spotlight with random passersby. Don't do that. Just, maybe turn it off. How about a little competency training? How about a little courtesy training for police officers? Turn off the gigantic fucking spotlight when you're not setting up a crime scene and you're just trying to fuck with people in a public park. And on that note, public. Use that word a lot. It's a public park. Public. Owned by whom? The public. We the people. The government. The government is you. The government technically owns that. You are the government. That's you. Public park. How is it in any way making sense in a cop's mind to go fuck with people in a public park? And again, if they were actually engaging in illicit, illegal activities, go investigate and go get them. But you're just fucking with them. That's all you're doing with your little spotlight thing. Just, what's going on over here? What are you doing? No, go. You know what? No, go investigate some fucking crimes. There's probably somebody getting robbed, raped, murdered, whatever, right now that you could be investigating or at least attempting to investigate. But instead, you're just fucking with people in a public park on the public dole. Talk about people on the public dole. How about fucking cops? They are the public dole. A lot of people say, oh, well, welfare entitlement state, and people on the public dole, we got to do something about all these people on the public dole. Okay, how about we start with the people who draw entire salaries and pensions and benefits from the public? How about we start with them? What are you doing? Well, I'm on my lunch break. I'm sitting in my air-conditioned cruiser, running the gasoline and running the AC full blast, and Now it's nighttime and I'm fucking with people in a public park. No. You are on the public dole. You draw your entire life savings. Your entire way of life right now is born from the public dole. We fucking own you. We fucking own you. Go do something. Not fuck with teenagers in a park. Not shine your little light at cars passing by. Go fucking investigate crimes. Go find crimes to investigate and actually police. Not just screw with people. We own you. You are on the public dole. You draw your entire way of life, your entire income, your entire compensation, everything you have, for the most part right now, the money in your wallet is from the public. Don't fuck with the public. Police the public. That's your job, but don't fuck with the public. That's not part of your job, and that's an egregious violation of your duty and your responsibility and any kind of trust that anybody has left in the people working the cruisers and the people walking the beats. If there's any trust left, that should all be gone when the police start fucking with people just because. I'm just sit here, show my light. Yep. Yeah, I'm part of a union. My pension's going to vest in a little while. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Oh, well, what the fuck? Don't you draw your salary from public monies? Well, yeah. Yeah, so isn't it kind of your job to make sure that those people aren't like having crimes committed upon them and are safe from all these things? Isn't your job to enforce the law? Part of the law being, robbery, murder, rape, all that stuff. Well, yeah. Okay, well, how does you sitting on the side of the road shining a light into a public park help that? Well, it's just this and that and the other thing. Okay. I see how it is now. Fuck you. Again, another reason I'm not very trustful of police officers. Paid salary, benefits, pensions, sitting on the side of the road, fucking with teenagers. All right, let's do some news. We've got a lot to talk about today. Premature death has been linked to watching television. Also in the news, death linked with oxygen consumption. More pesticide news, and just apparently the world is ending because of pesticides. Massachusetts SWAT teams claim they're private corporations. The Supreme Court rules that police need a warrant to search your phone, and an ACLU report takes a snapshot of police militarization in the United States. And IKEA is going to raise their minimum wage to about $10.76. And good news, it's the news that Lefty. Let's talk about all the things having to do with news. Let's start off with some good news. IKEA to raise its average minimum hourly wage. This is from the LA Times. IKEA to raise its average minimum hourly wage to $10.76. Swedish furniture giant IKEA is wading into the contentious American minimum wage debate by raising pay in its U.S. stores. IKEA U.S. will boost the average minimum hourly wage across its 38 retail locations to $10.76 beginning January 1st, 2015. That's a 17% bump from its current $9.17 an hour starting wage and $3.51 above the federal minimum. Quote, the happier the co-worker, the happier the customer, and the better overall shopping experience, said IKEA's acting U.S. President Rob Olson. We wanted to be less concerned about the competition and more concerned about offering our co-workers a better everyday life. Nearly half of the company's 13,651 American employees, full and part-time, will get a raise. Executives said the policy is a departure from that of most other companies, which generally aim to pay employees at roughly the same rates as their rivals. The federal minimum wage has not changed from $7.25 an hour since 2009. President Obama is campaigning for legislation that would boost the wage to $10.10 an hour, but critics worry that such a lift could stifle job growth by raising the cost of labor, driving companies to hire fewer workers, and boost productivity through technology. The National Retail Federation called the proposal an anti-job tax. A report A federal report from the Congressional Budget Office concluded that a 10.10 an hour minimum could scale back total employment by 0.3% or 500,000 workers. But researchers caution that, given the report's margin of error, those losses could actually range from a tiny reduction to 1 million jobs. The report also projected that the higher minimum wage could increase incomes for 16.5 million people and elevate 900,000 people out of poverty. That's right, abject poverty. The proposal could mean higher prices for consumers and crunched margins for businesses, which might also have to raise pay for higher wage workers to retain them, researchers said. Yes. Your margin will take a hit. That's one of the, I saw somebody in the comments ask for my thoughts on the minimum wage, and I talk about it a lot on this show, so I don't want to go through the whole thing, but rather than talk about my thoughts on just the morality and the ethics behind paying people that work for you in a full-time capacity, and whether that be, an hourly rate or salaried, paying somebody that gives you a full-time commitment a livable wage. Not living in luxury, not raising 5 kids, not 7 kids like Adrian Peterson, or maybe it's 6 now, not sure. I think he's losing them. So I lost another one. All right. 7 kids. Stop fucking. I don't even care that you have the money. Those are 7 kids or 6 kids that are going to be raised without fathers. And this is not a black issue. This is a children raised without fathers. Children raised without one or both input from parents, without paternal figures or maternal figures. I'm just talking parental figures. I don't think that's good. You need input from parental figures, right? That's the psychological thing, isn't it? And Adrian Peterson's just like, no, I'm just going to stick my dick in whatever. And I got kids, oh my God, whatever. Just give them money and they'll go away. But anyway, circling back, not talking to say nothing of that, of the idea of, a livable wage, a livable reward for a full-time commitment, or a livable compensation for a full-time commitment. I want to talk more about the argument against a minimum wage. Is that, it's going to crush my margins. Labor's going to be more expensive. And I say, yeah, so what? Well, I'm going to have to raise prices. I say, and my response to that is, not necessarily, no. It's just assumed by everybody that I've seen come out against the minimum wage that prices will have to go up. And I say, why? Why do they have to go up? Well, because labor's more expensive. Yeah. Well, their margins are thinning. Yeah. So what? That doesn't mean prices have to go up, does it? Well, but you no. I said, well, who decides what the prices are? The business owner primarily, right? Well, right. Okay. Well, if we can assume that they're making a profit, I mean, of course, you're not obligated in this country to run at a loss, and maybe there will be some businesses that have to contract or go under. But for the businesses that remain solvent, who decides what the profit margin should be? Why does it have to maintain? Why can't it go down a little bit? Why can't it do that? Why does it have to maintain or go up? Because the argument is against the minimum wage, against hikes in the minimum wage is, well, it's going to make the cost of labor go up. Yes. That means margins are going to shrink. Yes. Are the margins still going to be there? Well, yeah, for a lot of businesses, yeah. Okay. What's the big deal? So why do prices have to go up? And now this isn't a legal thing, and we're not talking yet about legislating profit margins, but let's talk morally for a second. Is there anything wrong with taking less? I would argue no. And I would also argue that it becomes immoral and unethical to immediately pass on costs of doing business, every single cost of doing business change, to the consumers. And that goes both ways, up and down. profit margin shrinking, whatever, yeah, you can absorb it and you can take a little bit less. Why is that such a big deal? That's one of the reasons why I loved, and yes, I know there is possibly a business gambit going on here with respect to Elon Musk and Tesla and their patents, but I don't know enough about the man to be jaded about him, so I'm going to assume for right now, and I can take that back at any time, of course, because it's my show, that this was an instance, one of the very few that I've seen, of somebody saying, I will take a little bit less, or I will expose myself even to the possibility of taking a little bit less so that others may be able to have a little bit more. Now, it's not as simple as I'm not going to raise prices for consumers just because the price of my labor went up. It's not that scenario. However, relinquishing patents, we've already talked about and we've seen, and it's accepted business practice to leverage those patents as assets, as business assets, to get money, to gain capital, and to reinvest in the business and all that stuff. But Elon Musk didn't do that. Said, no, here it is. They're all boop, done. There we go. It's there. Everybody's now. Have fun. And again, it could be a high order business gambit. But right now, I like to think I hope this is more somebody taking a little bit less so that others can have more than a shrewd business move, a long-term, a poker-like business move. Like, I'm not going to get you now, but 10 hands from now, 20 hands from now, I'll own you. This could be that, but I hope, and I might be hoping against hope that it is, again, taking a little bit less in the form of not having those assets to leverage and not having the protection afforded to you by having those protected patents so that others may have more, so that others may be able to get into the electric car game, or so that others may be able to expand on the technology and develop patents of their own so that they can have a little bit. And I want that, and I like that, because I think while we should not legislate that, I think that's a good quality for society to have, for that idea of, well, my labor prices went up or my labor costs went up. Does that mean my prices have to go up? Well, no, because my margin, while 5%, and while it was 5%, now it's 4% or 4.5% because labor is rarely more than half the cost of bringing an item to store shelves, and it's never the whole cost of something. Well, labor went up by 10%, got to raise prices by 10%. No, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. However, I think the idea of, labor costs went up, do prices have to go up? No, because my margin is 4.5%, but it's 4.5% on $1 million in sales, or 10 million, 100, $1 billion in sales. And it gets easier, not harder, for as the size of the business goes up, as the number of sales go up, the revenue goes up, to say, well, yeah, you're taking a percentage hit in your profit margin, but you're doing 10 billion in sales a year. So what? And I think that's a good quality for society to have. Again, we can't legislate it. You cannot legislate that, because that cuts out the humanity of the act. And the ability to take less is the ability to say, I could have this, but I won't, so that others can have some, is a human thing. That's a human. I could have this. I could. I could take it, make use of it, but I won't, so that these other people can have a little bit more. That is a human quality and something germane to the human experience that I think we should all hold up and say, yes, replicate this. Please make 7 billion copies of this quality and distribute it to everybody. Everybody, not just the owners of business. Distribute it to the consumers too. I could go find this product for less at another store, but I'm not going to because I want to support this store. I want to support brick and mortar, or I want to support this, I want to support that. Taking a little bit less so that others may have more, I think is a really, really good idea. And I think it applies when applied to business, and especially the minimum wage idea. The answer's clear. Minimum wage, and the prices don't have to go up. But nobody seems to answer me that. When I ask, well, why? Why do prices have to go up? Well, because. That's not really sufficient reasoning. So, the report from the government on the proposed minimum wage, federal minimum wage hike says, oh my God, prices are going to go up. Prices are going to go up. Why? Why do they have to go up? Well, now they are going to go up because people are greedy bastards. And fuck with my profit margin, will ya? Fuck with that? Nuh-uh. Well, okay. It is going to go up, but it doesn't have to. And that's the point. If you're studying business and you're learning economics and your theories say, and your equations and equilibriums and your graphs and your studies say all these things, ask why. Why does it have to do that? Why can't people take just a little bit less? Why does this have to be the way it is? Is it strictly because the equations say so? Oh, okay. The economy itself is a completely human construct, is it not? It's not like we're talking particle theory here. We're not talking about gravity waves and light how light refracts through glass, are we? No, we're talking about how humans interact. So why does it have to be this over that? Nobody has an answer for me. And something else I found interesting in this LA Times article was, and it's used multiple times, the phrase average minimum hourly wage. Okay? Average minimum hourly wage. It is in the title of the article. IKEA to raise its average minimum hourly wage to $10.76. And again, in the second paragraph, IKEA US will boost the average minimum hourly wage across its 38 retail locations to $10.76 beginning in January 15th. Twice it showed up in the report, and I'm not sure if it comes back in at the bottom, but average minimum hourly wage. Well, average denotes above and below. The idea that, this is an average minimum hourly wage means that there's minimum wages in IKEA stores that are above and or below this average. And regardless of whether you're talking about mean or median, it's a composite. Average is essentially a composite. So then it's really not a minimum, is it? Look, I know we're going to say, regionally. Well, then just say regional minimum wage. Don't say average minimum wage, because average minimum hourly wage doesn't make any fucking sense. We use in our society, and people, the LA fucking Times twice used the phrase average minimum hourly wage. Average minimum hourly wage. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's nonsensical wordage. That doesn't mean anything. Average? Yes, average, meaning it's a composite. Yes, meaning there's higher and lower. Yes, well then it's not really a fucking minimum, is it? Because what does minimum mean? And people just hear these words and these phrases and they just accept them and go on about their daily lives as though they actually mean something. No. Average minimum hourly wage doesn't make sense. And I know some people are going to say, well, you're just arguing semantics. You're keying on something, and everybody kind of knows what you're talking about when you say average minimum hourly wage. And I say, yes, however, unlike, say, my use of soccer to describe football, when I say, well, everybody knows what I'm talking about, so why are you getting your panties in a bunch? Unlike my use of that, the use average minimum hourly wage gives a lot of leeway for bullshit. Because once we start accepting not minimum wage, minimum, it's a hard floor. Minimum, this far, no farther. And I will make them pay for what they've done. That's what minimum means. Minimum, hard. No negotiation, no bullshit, no if this, but that, when this, then that. No, minimum, that's it. That's all you're getting. That's what you gotta bring to the table if you want to play in this game. Minimum. Once you start accepting, well, average minimum. Average minimum. I say, well, wait a minute. What's bringing into the average there? The minimum implied a hard floor. But apparently, if we're going to accept composites, that means that supposedly hard floor isn't as hard as it was. It's not as high or as low as we thought. Because minimum, it's 1. Right here. Above this, not below. But then average, well, all over the place, there's different minimums and da-da-da-da-da, and we just average them and we come up with this. Then it's not a minimum. And when you have an hourly wage, when we start tying ourselves to average minimum hourly wage, well, there's a lot of room for bullshit there because, well, yeah, our average minimum hourly wage is $10.76, and the people that try to live in downtown LA, our IKEA store in near downtown LA, yeah, those guys are making $10.76. Good luck living there on $10.76. But in Podunk, Iowa, the IKEA store near, I don't know, some college town, yeah, those people are making $6.50 an hour. That's the minimum. They're at a minimum there. You said you wanted a minimum wage. There is one. It's just a little bit below the actual minimum. Because minimum doesn't mean anymore. And more to the point, when you start accepting average, minimum, the whole concept of minimum, above this point, nothing below, means less. It doesn't mean the same anymore when people just hear average minimum hourly wage and say, oh, okay, average minimum hourly wage. There's nobody that goes, what the fuck are you talking about? Either it's minimum or it's not. When you start saying, well, average minimum wage doesn't make some fucking lick of sense. What does everybody do? Where are all the people? Maybe I'm crazy. I'm probably crazy. Where are all the people that ask these questions? And I don't mean I'm just asking questions. Like, how dare you question me for asking questions? No, I mean, where are all the people that see or hear these kinds of things and go, huh? What? What did Jeff, come here. Did he just say average minimum hourly wage? Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Where are all these people? I will go there. I will seek them out and find them. Are they at mental institutions? Okay, well, I guess I got to get committed then. Because I look around and nobody really seems to notice or care. They just, average minimum hourly wage. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Why you got a problem with that? I say, that makes sense to you? Yeah, it's average minimum hourly wage. Average minimum hourly wage makes sense to you, huh? Yeah, it does. Okay, then. I must be the one that's fucked up. But I can't be, because when I pass it through my internal logic filter, it still comes out bullshit and not making any sense. Please tell me where to find these people. I'm so alone. I'm so alone. All right. I talked about pesticide news at the top of the news stuff. I'm not talking anymore about organochloride or organophosphate pesticides. This is from friendsoftheearth.org or FOE.org, fo.org. Oddly enough, somebody in that marketing department should be fucking fired because Friends of the Earth, okay? Look, there's a few different approaches to creating acronyms. If you're going to create an acronym and it's just on the actual words, not on articles like of or the, if you only want to include nouns and verbs in the acronym, okay, that's one approach. But those articles of speech are always there in your back pocket just in case your acronym comes out looking funky, like penis. I don't even know what penis would be. The Presbyterian Enhancement National Integration Syndicate is penis. But if you say the Presbyterian for Enrichment National Integration Syndicate, then you can go pfenis, and it doesn't look like penis anymore. Similarly, if you look up military acronyms, there's tons of shit like that. Or the CDC. The CDC is not the Centers for Disease Control. It's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They just fucking left out and prevention. They're just like, nope. Because it's easier to say CDC than it is to say CDCP. NORAD. NORAD in America, Cheyenne Mountain. North American Air Defense. What is the rest of it? It's something fucked up. Oh, yeah, North American Aerospace Defense Command. Turns out acronyms to NORAD. So there's a lot of leeway given. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Now, when you're representing, this organization comes to you, right? You've got your office. You're a new marketing guru. You're like, all right, I am going to take these people, whoever comes to me, I'm going to create an online platform for them that is going to be second to none. It's going to be a one-stop shop for all their needs. Galaxy. I read about Galaxy in a magazine. I was like, oh my God, that's marketing genius. So I'm going to do that now too. So you got your office, right? You go to school, you get your degree, and there's an organization that comes to you, and they say, hey, we're an environmental organization. And we want to create branding and a blog and a website that represents our organization and our views. You say, okay, well, what's your name? Well, we're the Friends of the Earth. Okay, that's a descriptive name, of course. It ties into to the green movement. I like it. All right, here's your website. What's your acronym? Well, we don't have one. All right, well, I'll come up with you. How about Friends of the Earth go acronyms out to FOE? Not FOTE? No, FOE. Well, if you include of, why not the? Well, don't worry. I went to school to study this. You just worry about your little Greenpeace thing that you're doing over there. Okay, now we've got the acronym FOE, Friends of the Earth. Let's put that out on a website. Well, should we get a .com? No, we can't pay for it. Let's get a .org. Don't have to. We're a nonprofit. Okay, .org. Faux.org is your new website. What? Well, we're Friends of the... Well, what's the problem? Well, we're the Friends of the Earth. Right. But our website is faux. What is a faux? Well, that's your acronym. No. What does the word faux mean? It's a combatant. It is somebody, it is an antagonist. It is somebody not to be liked, is a faux. Why would you ever associate that fucking acronym with our fucking website? You stupid piece of shit. You are so fired. I don't know. Maybe I'm, again, crazy. Just crazy. I see these things and I think, huh? What? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, this is from Friends of the Earth. Getting back to pesticides. Dayline, Washington. Many, quote, bee-friendly home garden plants sold at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart have been pre-treated with pesticides shown to harm and kill bees, according to a study released today by Friends of the Earth and allies. Allies. You know, maybe the faux thing was, if you're going to use the word allies in your reports, in your self-written about your self-aggrandizing reports about your own studies, and you're going to say allies and not, I don't know, constituents, not, I don't know, something else, anything that is, that imply colleagues, mother of Christ, use colleagues, please. No, allies. Allies? Really? Oh, no. I don't like where this is going. The study, Gardeners Beware 2014, shows that 36 out of 71, or 51%, of garden plant samples purchased at top garden retailers in 18 cities in the United States and Canada contain neonicotinoid or neonic pesticides, a key contributor to recent bee declines. Some of the flowers contained neonic levels high enough to kill bees outright, assuming comparable concentrations are present in the flowers' pollen and nectar. Further, 40% of the positive samples contain 2 or more neonics. So this comes in the wake of this study and all these. I'm sure there's going to be more subsequent studies, and we're going to find out that all these neonicotinoid pesticides are everywhere, and they're killing bees, and killing bees are harmful because the bees cross-pollinate and they do all this, and then all these things that flow in our ecological system from bees, And you think if you take bees out of the equation, you realize, holy shit, they were a part of this whole thing. Now, there will be a caretaker for bees. You know, there will be something else that comes in and takes the place of bees in, 5, 10, 15,000 years. But right now, bees are gone and we're kind of fucked. Okay, I get the argument. But my question is this, because I joked about it yesterday when talking about all the pesticide issues and linked to autism and now killing the bee populations and the organophosphate pesticides and the organochloride pesticides like DDT were banned. And now people are saying, well, we've got to ban organophosphate because they're causing autism and now killing bees and all these bad things. And I just want to know, because I'm not in a position to say, well, no, they're not really killing bees. Well, what the fuck? Okay, they're killing bees, and that's bad. I agree. What do? Well, we ban it. Okay, what next? Well, then the bees will come back. Good, right? Yeah. That's good. Good. Okay. What about the insecticides or what about the insects and pests that go after the crops? How are we going to stop that? Well, but you still want produce at the supermarket, don't you? Yeah. You still want to be able to go to Whole Foods and get your bullshit cabbage or whatever it is the fuck you eat, right? Right. And you still want the U.S. to send peacekeeping missions and Good Samaritan missions over to the Horn of Africa with loads and loads and loads of food and all the shit we grow, and you want it shipped over there, and all the grain and all the corn and all the corn seed. You want that shipped all over the world to underprivileged nations and underprivileged peoples so that they can grow their own farms or they can eat, right? You still want that, right? Yeah, well, we got to do that. It's got to be there. Well, then what are we going to do about the pests and insects and incest? What are we going to do about that too? Something else, just completely, and now for something completely different. But what are we going to do? Where's the answer? Genetic modification? Well, GMOs are bad. GMOs are bad. Well, what the fuck do you want? We can't keep banning things. We can't keep banning things without coming up with a proper solution. DDT was the solution. Then there was some bullshit about how it was bad, and it was bullshit, most of it. I mean, the milky semen and the miscarriages, that's a no-brainer, of course. It fucks with people. It fucks with humans. Yeah, duh. It's a pesticide. It's a neurotoxin. It's meant to fuck people up. It's meant to fuck things up. That's why it's an insecticide. Duh. Well, it fucks people up. Yes. Are you exposed to it? No. Are you exposed to it in concentrations high enough in your crops and the food you buy and eat to kill you or fuck with you? Well, no, not really. Oh, okay. But it thins walls of eggs and it fucks up people. Okay. Well, all right. Fine, banned. All right. Organophosphates. Well, these are great. Oh, now they're fucking people up. Okay, well, banned. What next? Where does the end come? We still need the food. We still need the food to not be eaten and infected and fucked up by insects and pests. And we still need the food to feed ourselves and feed the rest of the world and ship the grain over to China and the Horn of Africa and all these places. We need a lot of crops, and we also need many of those crops, a very high percentage of those crops, to not be fucked up by pests or insects. What's the answer? Where's your answer for this then? You can say ban all you want. Anybody can say ban this, ban that because it fucks with things. Okay. I'm not in a position to disagree. What are we going to do about it? Because we're not going to stop growing crops. We're not just going to not be hungry anymore. How are we going to solve that? Where's it going to come from? What are we going to do? Ban it. Banned. Done. Okay. Now what? Well, now everything's good. Oh, do you have a solution? Well, no. Do you still want the food? Yeah. Should we still feed the world with all the crops that we were heretofore able to grow because of the insecticides and pesticides, at least in part? You still want that? Yeah. Well, how do we do it? Where's the answer? I haven't seen one answer. I've seen a lot of bans. Ban this, ban that, ban this, ban it all over the place. But, well, where's the answer come from? And I know some people are going to say the answer is genetic modification, but that's not the point. The point of this isn't to say, well, is there an answer? The point is, to get people thinking, holy shit, our society just bans things without ever thinking about the consequences of that banning. Or at least it seems as though they don't think about it. Because, okay, all these things are now banned. Well, now the crop survival rate drops statistically significantly. Some statistically significant percentage. Not half, but I don't know, 10%. Let's call it, is 10% a good number? If we ban the use of all these bad insecticides and pesticides, fine, I'll give you 5%. Because there's some insecticides and pesticides that aren't this bad. Okay, all right, 5%. 5%? Can we agree on 5%? What's the total food output of the United States of America? Grain. Let's say grain. We grow a lot of it. Grain or corn, you pick. 5% of that is now gone. Gone to insects and not usable, can't ship it to other people. It's pig feed now. You couldn't even feed it to pigs because it would kill them. It's gone. It's just gone. 5% of our total grain or corn output, you pick. How's that going to impact the world? Not just you. You'll probably still have stuff at the supermarket. Okay. 5%? What's that going to do to impoverish people throughout the world? Are we still going to have enough to sell to China or to sell to other places in the world that can't grow their own? Are we still going to have enough? Maybe. For a while. Until finally that 5%, then we find something else to ban. And that's another 5%. Then 10% of the total output. Then we find something else that's, it's bad. And we've only lost about 10% in the last 20 years. So that's not really bad, right? Right. Yeah, okay. Or, irrigation in Africa, bringing more farms online. Yeah, it's good. Even though those farms will never, ever get to the growth, the capacity and output of U.S. farms or farms in the South of America or anywhere else. Okay, well, this thing is bad too, and we should ban that. Okay, well, that's another now 15%. Where's the answer come from? Because eventually we're going to get to the point where we can't send people grain anymore. We can't send people corn. We're out. Sorry, we got to feed ourselves. And then there's going to be grain and corn shortages in America. When you go to Whole Foods to get your ultra fiber, whatever grain, your gluten-free, pesticide, insecticide-free bread, there's going to be a shortage. You can only buy one loaf this month. What? Well, you wanted insecticide, pesticide-free so that we don't cause autism and kill bees, right? And all these bad things. Yeah, it's good that they're banned. Well, here's the result. Because I haven't heard any other, I've not heard a single person say, or some other argument that says either here's a level of badness that we can accept, or here is the answer. I've seen neither of those. Just a lot of ban. All right, well, ban yourself right in the face, you jackasses. All right, let's bring it home. Woo, another great episode of The Lefty Show. Thank you all for joining. I had a great time putting on the show. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody that's been watching on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you find great gaming content. The Lefty Show and its YouTube version, and vlogs, all the great kind of stuff. So go ahead on over to YouTube.com/LeftyOX. You can find me on the daily there. You can follow me on Twitter at Lefty643. Twitter.com/Lefty643. Stay up to date on all my musings, Lefty Show news. That's not why you called news. All that great stuff. Twitter.com/Lefty643 or just at Lefty643. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show, friends, family, and coworkers. RSS feed is at leftyshow.podbean.com. Search The Lefty Show on your Android podcasting app or go to the iTunes store and search The Lefty Show. Subscribe. Be sure to rate the feed. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. That's my time. I got to get out of here. I will catch you next time. I'm out. Bye. Everybody has affinity for cock.